Good morning, my friends. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. Let me know that you're here in the comments by just typing a comment so I know I'm not talking to myself. I always say that every time. I think it's kind of funny, even though it's not that funny. And forgive me about my voice. It's kind of crackly and I'm like losing it, and my throat hurts a little bit for whatever reason. I might sneeze a couple times. Doing my best here, but I'm kind of going off the deep end a little bit as far as my health goes the past couple of days. Anyways, you just have me today. I'm gonna be your guest host, and what I wanted to talk about was something interesting that happened yesterday. So I actually had a call with a member yesterday who's got a very interesting traffic strategy and a very interesting monetization strategy, and it's very similar to something that another entrepreneur does that's really, really, really profitable, that makes a lot of money in the nine figures, right, every year. And, so this person has a killer strategy, and so does that other person. And it's actually used inside of this book. This is $100 million offers by Alex Hermosi. And I think this ties into a couple things that everybody could start doing to get better results in their business. So, one of the things that a lot of us have are lead magnets, right? So we have our ebook or our whatever, a training, a checklist, whatever it might be. Now, a lot of people just give away the same copy and pasted garbage that everybody else is doing, or they copied something out of ChatGPT, pasted it in there, spent 3 weeks trying to make it look good, and they gave it away, but didn't give it any more thought beyond that, right? So the point of a lead magnet is a couple things, right? There's two major things it really should do. And one thing is it should be a irresistible initial offering that people can't say no to. And because it's free, that's just so much better. And it should be solving a specific problem in order to do that, right? But because it's an irresistible offer, people are going to get on your list. People are going to inquire with you. They're going to do business with you. They're going to say, hey, I want that thing. What do I got to do to get it? That's how you get them on your list. That's how you get them in your many chat list. That's how you get them as followers. That's how you get them, get them on the phone, whatever it is, right? You use these magnets, these bonuses, these giveaways, these free things, these lead magnets. It's an offer, right? Just like if you were creating your own product that you were selling, that's an offer too. A lead magnet is just an irresistible offer that people can't say no to. That's the first thing that it does, right? But that's not the only thing that it does. The other thing that a lead magnet does, right? And this is important because a lot of you just say, okay, I got to make the lead magnet look good, make it something people want, and then the rest is just gone with the wind, right? Who cares what happens once they get it? Then I'm just going to email them about the product, right? Well, one of the key components you're missing that's affecting your conversions is that your lead magnet should also be something to prep and lead them naturally into the purchase of a product, right? And it should be set up and designed in a way where it's almost like it's still part of the funnel. It is still part of the funnel where it's something that's going to maybe solve one problem, but open the door perfectly for your product to step in and solve more problems or solve another problem, right? So you have an offer that probably solves a lot of major problems. What's one thing that you can solve really, really, really fast, really, really, really quickly, right? With a lead magnet that's going to then lead them into, right, great. And they make them say, now that I have this problem gone, I've got this next problem that I need to solve. And then they're going to take your lead magnet, they're going to go through, and then they're going to see your offer perfectly positioned inside of it, and they're going to make the purchase. Now, what's very interesting here, this is something nobody does, right? What do we all do? We all have that affiliate marketing guide that just has here's what tools you need and a pitch at the end, right? And then it's just links listed out. So I'm flipping through this here just to find one very specific thing that he does in this book consistently all the way throughout it. Right here is one. I'm going to find a different one that's on another page that might be a little easier to notice. So, but what he does is he's actually got QR codes spread all through this book to promote other things that he has on the internet. And they pop up constantly. It's genius. It's one of the best ideas I've ever seen. Here we go. So we look at this, right? Let's take a look here, see what he says. So you see this little dotted line here, this box of this QR code? And what he says here is he says, free gift number 7, bonus tutorial, how to ethically use scarcity and urgency, blah, blah, blah. He says, go to acquisition.com/this and select scarcity and urgency to watch the video tutorial. You'll also be able to grab my scarcity urgency checklist I use when creating offers. You can scan the QR code if you don't like typing. I love the way he talks. I just love it's called $100 million offers. I really love the way he talks. He writes the way he talks. And it's just like, he just says, right? He says, if you don't like typing, you can scan the QR code, right? So whereas some of us try to get all formal and we say, if it makes it easier, you can scan the QR code, right? And we kind of write it all formally, like we're all customer service agents when we're really not. He writes in everything he does in his actual voice, like the way he would say it. Like it's almost like he just read all these words or said all these words into a voice to text thing. And that's how he wrote the book. But all throughout this book, he's got these little call to actions that take the readers from the book to the offers, right? So I don't have to get through the whole book. Look at how much page I have left after that call to action. And this is gift number 7. There's probably more than 7 of these that came up earlier in the book, right? So here's another one right here, right? And this one's in the very beginning. This is on page 30. Look at how many pages, and a bunch of the pages in the beginning of a book are BS, right? So very early in the book, he's solving a very specific problem, right? How to create good offers on the internet. And he's putting these call to actions all throughout because he knows that the book is a dead end. He knows that when you get this book and you start reading it, there's not any easy way to guarantee that you're going to be sticking around and buying more stuff. He's found a very creative way and is using a very creative method of getting people. Now, this is just one example, folks. There's a lot of ways you can do this. There's a lot of ways to facilitate this outcome. This is a very aggressive and effective conversion model, right? You're taking a lead magnet, a thing that people want because it solves a problem that you sell. Now, this is something that's even sold. He sells this. He sells this. He doesn't just give it away. He sells this. And so he knows that when people get in here, it's very easy for it to either be set down. They're not going to read the whole thing. So now as little as 30 pages in, I've got one of these to where I can go to acquisition.com/blah, blah, blah. And I created some free SOPs, cheat codes for you to use so you can implement faster. You can scan the QR code if you don't like typing. And it takes them right out of the book and right into. Now, if you're doing an ebook, a digital ebook, obviously you just need a clickable link there. But if you have an actual book, like a physical hard copy, that is something that you use a QR code that makes it a lot easier. Now, here's where the QR codes are interesting. One thing that I've heard the author of this book say in the past in interviews and in podcasts and whatnot is that the majority, 50% or greater of his traffic comes from Amazon. So, okay, Amazon. Think about that for a second. More than half of his traffic comes from somebody shopping on Amazon, buying one of his books, and then going from the book to his offers and buying shit. That's interesting. That's kind of wild, right? And so how can you do this, right? Well, you could actually, if you wanted to write a book that solves a real problem, don't take your AI generated how to start affiliate marketing guide or how to do this or that. You want to solve a real problem, you can take that and you could actually upload that to Amazon and then use Amazon as a traffic source. Because if you design the book in where it's conversion oriented, where it's designed and oriented in a way where it's going to convert and funnel traffic to a specific place, you get that book on Amazon. If people start buying it, anybody who buys it there, you have this passive source that actually is making you money, right? So what does the research process for this look like? Well, I would just say find something you could actually write a book about around something you specialize in. Put QR codes. It could even go to affiliate links, right? This could even be the whole business model if you wanted it to. But where you can really capitalize on this is just using it as a traffic source to promote high ticket stuff that you're either selling or an affiliate for. And then, so what you're doing is you're just writing this book. You're putting a very specific call to action in a very specific place throughout the book, multiple of them. And then you have readers coming through, and as they read it, and yeah, if you wanted to just get sales, you can run ads to it or whatever. You can run ads to the book on Amazon. And at that point, you could even lose money on the ads. If people are going through your call to actions in the books, then you're still going to make money, right? So how many people need to buy the book in order for an additional product to sell because you set it up correctly in the book, you set it up designed for conversions? How many people of the people that buy the book are actually doing something and buying something in there? Now you're starting to increase the lifetime value of that customer, right? So, and it's a completely passive traffic source, right? The only thing you have to actually do is create the products, get them listed, and monitor it, and hit the little button to withdraw the money from everything you sold. And they pay, I think, every month. So you add that in addition to whatever you're already doing for traffic, you've just added a whole nother traffic source to your entire business, all based around the lead magnet, right? All based around the lead magnet. So right now, while you're stuck in and you're just trying to, create content and get people to watch my videos, I'm trying to build an audience, I'm trying to get followers, I'm trying to do all these different things, right? There's other ways to skin a cat. There's other ways you can do this. And there's other things you can do that are very creative and innovative and unusual, something like that. Now, look at the credibility that gives you as well. That's an interesting part of the conversation, right? When we come on social media and we're talking about why they should trust us and sharing our story, wouldn't it be cool to say that you have a book on Amazon that sold 500 times in the past month? Maybe you didn't make any profit on that, right? Maybe you didn't make any profit on the front end of that book selling, but you still sold 500 copies of your book that you published on Amazon in the last 30 days. And you could do that with advertising, and you're not going to, it's not going to be like I pay for ads, I get zero in return, right? You might just end up paying more for ads than the amount of books that you sold. It's going to depend on how good the book is, right? Have a really good title on it, have a really good cover for it. Those things play a large role in how well a book is going to sell. But either way, how does that look for credibility? I mean, that's incredible. You take the cover of it, you put a little cover picture of it on your landing page, you talk about it, you have a little blurb there, something you mention, you get your own copy of the book so you can hold it up and use it as a prop. Give yourself credibility, give yourself authority, make yourself somebody worth looking at and listening to. And there's another benefit of this process right here, right? So all of this is really just to say, right, don't underestimate or undervalue the power of what you can accomplish with a really, really, really good lead magnet, a really, really, really good, or we could call it low ticket offer if lead magnet doesn't make sense to you anymore, right? But it is a lead magnet. These books that he sells, he's got two of them. He's got the offers book and he's got the leads book. I've got them both. You can ask my wife. This one's 150 pages. I read it in a day. The other one's about 250 pages. I read that in 2 days, 2.5, and I still skim through them both from time to time. When you create a book that makes people want to do that, then they will, they will buy. First off, the more books you release, people will come back and just keep buying them, right? Like he's coming out with his next one. I can't wait to get it. I'm like a fanboy over here waiting for this book to come out. It's the first book I've ever read cover to cover in my friggin' life. I don't read, right? I'm a man. Men don't read. And I read both of these, because the information was so good, and it's so good for somebody like me who needs that information. The other piece of it too is just that it solves major problems, right? You don't know what that little gold nugget is you're going to pick up. So you don't have to be a major expert in whatever this thing is that you're talking about. But you have to just be a step ahead and be able to solve that major problem that people have, right? I could write books if I wanted to about productivity. I could write them about making money online. I could write them specifically about creating offers. I could write them specifically about recruiting affiliates. I could write them specifically about, there's a lot of specific things. If I were to make that list, I'd spend the rest of my life writing. Um, you could use AI to help you with the creation of anything that you want to make. You just can't copy and paste that AI into a book and just call it good, right? What you've got to do is you've got to use AI as an assistant, let it do 85%. The remaining 15% is you going in and humanizing the process, right? Then you go in, you either pay somebody or you yourself, you design a really good cover for it that's going to grab attention and something that's going to create curiosity and look good and be appealing to the audience you're trying to really attract, and then you put it on Amazon. And then you could just wait and see and hope and pray. Does this book that I created draw leads in? Does this get people? But because at the end of the day, even though they're purchasing the book, they're not customers yet. They're customers on your Amazon store, but they're leads, right? They're leads. Um, Put stuff in and throughout that book. Chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, in the middle of each one. Little subtle, non-pushy, non-salesy, valuable mini offers all throughout that book, right? Just like, what does he say in here? What's the one? He even has one to go and review the book, right? He puts a QR code and he says, hey, it makes it really, really easy. It really makes it helpful. And you're already starting to change your habits. Bonus tutorial, start here, right? That's not the one I was looking for. But anyways, he's got all these little mini offers, right? Watch the first video in the free course on how I differentiate offers in the businesses I consult and get them to charge premium prices. I also created some free SOPs. We already read this one. But essentially, right, he's got a mini offer for more value, more intentional information that's going to help you, is all that this is. It's not a buy my stuff. It's not a you need this or this won't work for you. It's not a anything. It's just, hey, I've got something additional that I go into much more detail on here. If you want to check that out, here's a QR code and the URL. So you can go right directly to it, check it out if you want to. Right? Now you've just got extra value just dropped right there. That's value that's designed to actually help them solve a problem that maybe you created, right? And then you're solving it. You created it so you can solve it, and you're a good author and a good copywriter, so you did it that way. And then they go to that page, and now that they're on the internet, now you have the ability to capture their information and sell them more shit, right? Or sell them more stuff. I like to say sell them shit because it gets me excited. But you're selling them stuff. You're selling them good stuff. So that's an interesting strategy, right? It's a very creative way. It's one of those things where it was mind blowing to me because to the trained eye, you pick up on this stuff right away and you understand what's going on and what's in front of you and why it's happening. To the untrained eye in here, that isn't something that you notice right away. That's something where it's just like, oh, it's different, right? But you don't really pick up on why it's happening, right? You don't immediately think, oh, this guy's trying to get my information. Oh, this guy's trying to make sure I buy more stuff. This guy's trying to, right? You don't think of it that way. You just think, wow, this is a great book. There's lots of good information in here. I'm learning so much, and I'm getting a lot of value from this, right? It's all in the strategy, right? It's all the strategy that he's using. And 50%, this book, these particular books were bestsellers, but these particular books are major, major, major traffic sources, taking traffic from Amazon. By the way, this is targeted traffic because what's the book called, right? How to Make Offers So Good People Feel Stupid Saying No. Obviously, there's a very specific type of person that's going to read that. It's not like you're going to have a picture with a thing that they can click on and maybe they were curious enough to just see, like, okay, what is this thing? But with this, you're only going to get the people that are actually genuinely interested in what the topic is that you're advertising here. So you're going to get only those people buying it, opening the package when it shows up, opening the book. You're amazed. It's amazing where there's drop off in every little bit of the process, every additional step that you have. There are people that I know somebody, there's people that order stuff on Amazon and doesn't open the packages. the package comes in. Like, to me, it's like the very first thing I have to do when I see it down there is I have to rip it open and see what the hell it is. Sometimes I don't remember what I ordered. That's what happened with this. I ordered this under desk cable management tray here. The only reason I ordered this is because I needed a box of nitrile gloves, rubber latex gloves to put on. I had to clean the salt cell for my pool system, which requires muriatic acid to do that. And I was like, I don't have any gloves. So I ordered a pair of gloves, but I needed to put more stuff in the cart in order to get the same day delivery. So I put that thing in the cart because I needed it. Then next thing you know, this package shows up and I don't even remember what the hell it was. That could be your book, right? That could be your book. Look at how good Amazon is at getting people to make purchases. And now you've got these people that are interested, adding it to a wait list, adding it to a wish list, they call it, adding it to their cart. It's just sitting there, right? And then next thing you know, they make an order and, this book shows up. They decide to crack it open within the first 15 pages or less. They find one of those call to actions. Then they go through their call to action to a web page. They're watching a video of you, and then you're giving them a call to action to buy something in the video. And you just sold more stuff, right? Now, if that's your strategy and that's what you're doing, right? Let's use easy numbers. Let's do some math. This is the fun stuff, right? Let's say you sell this for $20, right? You sell your book for $20 and it costs you $30 to get a customer. It costs you $30. So every time you sell a book, you're losing $10. Right? Now, most people would say, oh my gosh, this isn't going to work. That's all the people that say like, Amazon KDP doesn't work, blah, blah. Yeah, it doesn't work for them because they're trying to sell like kids books for $7. Obviously, it's not going to work. Not saying kids books don't work. I'm just throwing that example out there, but there's nowhere to go beyond that. They have to come back and they have to buy more books from you. But the book that you wrote has call to actions throughout it that take them to sales pages and to value pages and to other things that are helpful to the person that solve problems that eventually lead to them spending more money. Even if it's not immediately on that page, it leads to them spending more money, right? So now, because a bunch of the people that buy your books are also spending up to an additional $500 more, well, geez, now, if one person out of 10 spends $500, that just brought my lifetime value up quite a bit, right? It brought me up to either break even or maybe even profitable. Because what you're doing is you're taking the average, right? If you just took the Amazon and you're saying, okay, it converts at this percent, and this is how much I make, and this is how much it costs me to get a customer. Oh, wow. So it's like, I'm losing money right now. How do I make it not lose money? Well, there's kind of not a way to make it not lose money at that point unless there's a way to convert something on the back end with an upsell. So if you wrote a book that doesn't have a method of getting them from there to buying more, right? The only thing you can do at that point is try to write more books, right? And try to get a winner, right? Because otherwise, what's the cycle look like? Write a book, load it up there, run some ads to it, and then it dies, right? You lose money. Okay, let's try it again. And we lose money. We try it again and we lose money. What happened every time? We ran some ads, probably not long enough to really see if it could become a bestseller or on a high up on the list, but long enough for you to lose a bit of money on the process, right? Or you can do something like this that has call to actions in it. You run those same ads and you sell it. And now you know that, wait a minute, I've got a couple $500 offers in that book that if somebody goes through the QR code and they get on my list, and you'll be able to see, right? You'll be able to see how many leads are coming in. You can take the QR code in the book and put a specific tracker on it. So that way it tags your leads. So that way you know who came from the book. I mean, there's simple little tech ways of making sure you do this perfectly. And at that point, you write how many people are coming in, becoming leads, adding to your list, and then buying other products. And if they're buying other products, that means lifetime value is going up. How many of those people need to buy one thing from the inside in order for you to have a positive LTV? where the average lifetime value of the customer is more than what you're paying to acquire them. Now you can ramp up your ad spend because you can afford to sell more books than the other people because other people aren't doing that. So you can actually afford to spend more to acquire the customer. And there's this old saying that whoever can spend the most to acquire a customer wins the game. Right now, as far as social media marketing and content marketing and stuff goes, not really so true anymore because whoever's the best at organic content is going to win the game, right? But anybody can play the game and still get great results. So it's a little bit different. The times have changed. So short form video didn't exist when that saying was made, but it's still true for Amazon. Amazon, they do have an organic feed you can use. Actually, the last time, I'm curious to see if it's there now because they used to have this Inspire feed. Maybe somebody can enlighten me in the comments. There used to be what's called an Inspire feed on Amazon, and it was like a scroll feed, and you could go through and you could actually go through your shopping app and you can look at videos people made of products. Let's see, video. No, this is just selling me videos. So they have this Rufus AI thing. Yeah, I don't see it here. There used to be at the bottom of the Amazon shopping app, you would have a little light bulb. What's this? Shopping by interest, shopping guides. They used to have a little light bulb you can click on. It would bring you into a TikTok feed that you could scroll through. And then you would be able to buy products right directly off of those. I have something similar here. I have a shop by interest thing. And it's not even working because it's showing me desk organization. Well, I just ordered a cable management tray. So I guess that makes sense. I guess it is doing what it's supposed to, but it's showing me kind of like stupid stuff that I wouldn't want. Like I don't need a little thing to put little folders in on the desk. I don't need that. So Amazon's got to get better. This is just kind of like aesthetic stuff. Like I would never buy this, but like, anyways, I think you guys are getting the idea. I think I've been very clear as far as what the strategy looks like here, but you can afford now with Amazon, if you're running Amazon ads to sell your books, you can now afford to spend a whole lot more than everybody else who's selling books on Amazon because you've got offers in the back end of your book. You've got offers spread throughout the book. You're going to make more money than just the book. And guess what? You get a lot of impressions with Amazon when you're running ads. And if every customer is basically like a highly targeted person that's now coming into your ecosystem and getting value from you, that's huge. That's a huge thing. That's a huge lever that you're pulling on. Imagine having that little, even if it's a little bit, which it could be a lot of it, but imagine if it's a little bit. For the guy who wrote these books I was talking about here, he says it's close to half his traffic. He sells so many of these. He also has other big followings that he uses to promote these, right? So it's no surprise that these both became bestsellers. He's got one of the biggest audiences in the world at this point, not only to push traffic to the books, but also, his book became a bestseller. So it's recommended to basically everybody who comes on the app for Amazon shopping. But imagine what can change about you and your business by having right? Let's recap all the benefits here. You've got targeted traffic buying a product that's then got call to actions to solve problems they actually have, right? In a very high value way. Number two, you've got the credibility now of taking that product that's selling at this volume on this major platform that everybody knows. And you can hold it up and you can talk about how you've sold X amount of copies of this over the past month because you're here to help people with X, Y, and Z. And now all of a sudden you've got credibility. You're a published author. You're somebody who is legitimate. You're somebody who is qualified, right? It's not just, right? I wanted to do something and I did it. No, it's like, look, I'm a published author. I have this and I've sold X amount of copies in the last month and people have been loving this. And I've been getting on average that it has 5-star reviews, right? Whatever it is that you want to say there, right? But it gives you a massive amount of credibility. How much different is that person versus the person who didn't do that, right? And so you've got that. So that's helping with your social media growth now, because now you're more interesting to listen to, right? And on top of any of the traffic that happens there, right? That's happening there. You still do have the potential to be profitable on the front end and have a little bit of revenue coming in from the actual book that you wrote. And once you write it, if you're not running ads to it, right, you can write them, put them on there, and just let them sit there. And if something sells good, there's going to be profit there. You're going to keep about 60 or 70% of whatever it sells for on Amazon, because there's royalties, right? You don't get just free traffic. Just, yeah, hey, here it is, right? There's their KDP piece. So if you're doing, a hardcover book, there's a cost associated with having the book printed, having the cover made, and having the pages bound, and having it shipped and fulfilled. There's costs there, right? So don't go onto Amazon KDP and just get all blindsided by the fact that, oh, if I list it for $9.99, I don't keep $9.99. You don't. If you list it for $9.99, you're going to probably keep $6.50 minus, for physical copies, whatever it costs to actually manufacture that book and ship that book. So you're probably going to keep, I don't know, if I were to guess, $4.50, $5 out of every sale. But if you're pricing it that low, that means that you have, if you're pricing it that low, that means you have to acquire customers really, really, really cheap. And, I might look at some of the other books in that space that are selling for a higher dollar amount and try to make one like that. Look for the books. Where's the ones that have sold 500 in the last month, and they're priced at X amount, and it's not written by somebody that people actually know, right? Like, don't look at like Mel Robbins or Dave Ramsey and be like, oh, they wrote a book about this. No, it's Mel Robbins and Dave Ramsey. Of course the shit sold, right? People know who they are. So, or any other celebrity or famous person, right? Or instantly recognizable kind of household level name. Don't use those as examples. Find the books that were written by somebody who isn't known by anybody, that are actually selling at high volume and are selling for a decent price, right? I'd look for stuff that's $15 or higher. And then now you have the ability to write something that people will see the value in, will be worth that, they'll buy that, and you can put it on there with enough room for you to make maybe a little bit of a profit after you run the ads and start selling the product. And then I don't know how the algorithm works. I'm not an expert on that. I hopefully there's the potential for you to eventually stop running ads, and if it's got a lot of sales and great reviews, it will still be pushed and recommended. I don't know how that works. I'm assuming that's what it would be, right? I'm assuming that people will continue seeing your book if it's got a lot of excellent reviews, because you spent $5,000 running ads to it. And in the process of doing that, maybe you made back 4,000, but now you've got this book with 300 5-star reviews, and hopefully people are going to continue to see it and buy it. But you've also, in that time right now, man, that's a very real situation, right? So in that case, you're negative 20%. Right? It cost me 5,000 to make 4,000. So, right? Let's look at this from the same perspective again. If I've got upsells inside the book, right? How many of those do I need to sell? Well, if you've got, with all that traffic spent, 300 people, right? We were talking about 300 5-star reviews. Let's say it's 300 people. Or actually, if your book is $10 and you sold 4,000, that would be 400 people. Right? So if your book was $15, it'd be a little bit less. So it depends where your price point is. You're looking at somewhere between 300 and 400 people. Do you think 2 of them would buy a high ticket $500 or more product from you inside of that book through a QR code or through a link that's easy for them to access, that solves an immediate actual problem right away? Do you think you would have sold to 2 of them that $500 product? That's a pretty crappy conversion rate if you only sold it to 2 of them. Crappy. So, I mean, it's a very high potential strategy. And now you just broke even on all that, right? That $4,000 that you made just became $5,000, and now you're at break even. Everybody additional who buys products from inside the book, it's just do nothing traffic. You just let your ads run, right? Now, I don't want to oversell this thing for something more than it is, but it's something that is very, very real. And it's something that you can lose a lot of money on, but it's something that you can get a lot of traffic with. If you've got it, it's going to be just contingent on having a good book that people want, with a great title and a great cover on it that gets attention. That's going to be very important, right? It's like the thumbnail on a YouTube video. You've got to have a great quality presentation. It's got to be phenomenal. And it's got to be something that when people pick it up, they can't put it down. And there's got to be offers in it. So you do all that successfully, you'll have a good book, right? But you could always just now, at least, at the very least, even if all of this information is something you don't use, even if you don't do all of these things I'm talking about, hopefully at least you learned how, when I'm giving something away for free, I can amp up the conversions that I get after the fact, right? Because instead of having a lead magnet that you're giving away for free that you half-assed, right, just to get people in the door and then nothing happens after that, now at least hey, when I go ahead and write my lead magnet and create my lead magnet, I'm going to create it in a very conversion-oriented way. It's still going to be very desirable to the people who don't have it yet. They're going to see that, and they're going to have to say, ooh, I have to have this. I can't say no. It would be stupid for me to say no and walk away and not say yes to that right now. And there's no obligation, right? You could even put on your landing page if you want to. You could put, hey, if you just want the book, you're welcome to opt in. It'll trigger an automatic email, and then you could just unsubscribe right away, right? You can put that on there. There's no risk for the person, and the offer is fantastic. So then if they get that and they open it, and it's just words and it doesn't really mean anything, and it's a dead end, then you didn't really get anywhere. But if it's a killer good book and they can't put it down, and there's other offers, mini offers all throughout it, you're going to get people that are going to take advantage of that. And all of a sudden, you're not just somebody they wanted to nab a thing from on the internet that got some curiosity. It's, I want to do business with this person, right? This person can actually help me. This is the first person I've seen that actually makes me feel like I can do something about this, right? So that's probably where we're gonna put a bow on this thing right here. So hopefully this was valuable and helped some of you. I actually didn't plan on going that long and going into that much detail, but I just kind of start talking and then I can't stop. Like, I just get going. So anyway, my gift to you, I guess. But everybody, we're going to wrap this thing up. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll be back again tomorrow, and we'll see you again soon.